Have you ever wondered what the difference between success and failure is? I'm here to tell you that oftentimes the difference between success and failure is legitimately, literally, just knocking on that one more door. Years ago, in fact, it was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I was in Santiago, Chile, doing a Christian service mission, and I was out there knocking on doors, and it was late at night, and we weren't having a lot of success trying to help families get back on track and get out of addictions like drug and alcohol and other difficulties that they were going through. And we looked up at a window, and I just knew 4 stories up, half a mile away, we got to go knock on that one more door. We're tired. It's been a long day. It's 105 degrees in Chile, and we want to go home. We're tired, we're hungry, but we got to knock on that one more door. I knock on that door, and it just so happens that a gentleman opens the door who had been going and doing English classes actually at one of our church buildings downtown, miles away. Didn't know anything about it. He and his family needed a lot of help to get their family back on track and help with a lot of different issues. We were able to help that family and never would have been able to have that opportunity to serve without knocking on one more door. A few years later, I started my first entrepreneurial business. It was right in the middle of college. This guy comes in my classroom. He's like, hey, if you want to succeed in business, maybe you should actually run a business. Maybe you should actually be in business. That piece of paper from college, it's not going to get the job done. I'm like, okay, he's right. I got to get involved in a business. And their business was called College Works Painting. And you went out and you built a painting business, painting people's homes, even though I had no skills at painting, no talent, and no idea how to run a business or do it. But I did have a little bit of experience knocking doors. I went out, and it's cold and it's rainy, and I'm knocking doors, and I'm driving 45 minutes there and back to go into these neighborhoods and these ritzy, wealthy areas of Park City, Utah, where you got movie stars and very wealthy business executives. I'm knocking on their doors saying, hey, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm going to help get your house painted. And I know it's a $2 million house, but you can trust me. I'm 21 years old. I've never run a business. I know nothing about painting, but let me go ahead and come in and take care of your house. So I'm knocking on all these doors. And to get started, you had to have enough business book to actually hire some painters and make it worth their time. And so I'm about ready to give up, and I look at a house, and I knock at one last house, one last door. I make the pitch. Guy says he's going to think about it. I'm thinking of going into a different direction. Maybe this business isn't going to work out. I'm right there at the edge where I'm going to give up. I'm not going to knock on that one more door. I already did knock on that one more door. And right as I'm about to give up, he gives me a call back, that gentleman does. I book that job. And out of 100 people starting that business internship, I finished second in that internship, make over $20,000 in profits for the summer, which is a fortune for me. Take my wife on our honeymoon to Cancun, Mexico, and I realized there's so much power in knocking on just one more door. One more door is the difference. Keep going, don't stop. 2 years ago, the pandemic starts. All of a sudden, all these events, we did events across the country. That's where more than half of our business was coming from. And guess what happened to every one of these events? They all got canceled. Oh my word, am I going to have to lay off people? What are we going to do? How are we going to generate business and sales? How are we going to keep on serving business owners and customers when they're at these events and now they're no longer events? So one day, I remember some of our salespeople were gone. They were on vacations. Things were slow, and I'm about ready to call it a day. I've been calling all day long, hundreds of people, and I see one last name, Jen, in my system. I'm like, interesting. She had a really good pre-approval to fund her business. Why didn't she move forward? And I knock on that one more door. I pick up the phone. I call Jen. Turns out Jen doesn't need funding for the business she was looking at anymore, but guess what? Jen's starting a new Amazon e-commerce business. She needs a lot of money for inventory. And it so happens that I'm able to help her. Jen is working with a new group that teaches people, moms, how to get funding and how to start Amazon businesses. And then I get in touch with you and I'm like, hey, how many of your clients need funding? All of a sudden, hundreds of them do. Fast forward, and $8 million in funding later, hundreds of those clients have gotten funding. And that one last call, that one last door that I knocked on fueled our business. We had record growth in sales right in the middle of the pandemic in June, July, August, every month for the last 2 years. And it all started because I knocked on one more door. I made one last phone call. So my friends, when you're at the edge and you're about ready to give up and you're about ready to give up on your dream of entrepreneurship, of starting a business, of changing your family's life, of creating generational wealth, of being able to create an epic life for your family where you can take your family to the Riviera Maya like I'm going to get to do in a few weeks here for the third time in the last few years, and make a real difference and leave, lasting experiences, with your children for the rest of their lives, keep going. Knock on that one more door. Make that additional phone call. Don't stop until you get the result that you need. People need your help. They're waiting for you to knock on their door, to make that one last phone call that will absolutely and incredibly change your life. And over the last 20 years of entrepreneurship and building sales teams and building organizations, it's always been knocking on that one last door that made all of the difference. So my friends, if you're looking for another door to knock on, you're looking for a recession-proof business, Funding CEO Academy is creating successful six-figure funding empires for parents across this country who want to create an epic life for their family. So if that's you, click on the link below. I've got a free book for you. It's called The 7 Keys to Building a Recession-Proof Funding Empire, and knock on that one more door. Keep going. And if you're getting value out of this video and others, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. We pop out 2 to 3 videos every week to inspire you about funding, credit. We're the #1 fintech channel that helps entrepreneurs get their money right with funding and credit and managing all of their finances, business and personal. Subscribe to the channel. Click the ding dong button up there so you can get notifications. God bless you, and we'll see you next time on our video series.